Hello, my name is Kyle Power, and this is my presentation for MPA 594 on public administrative theoretical concepts and just a few additional concepts that we have covered throughout the MPA program with Cal Baptist University. In this presentation, I'll cover 4 additional theories that we have covered throughout the coursework or throughout the curriculum of the MPA program. We'll begin with the 2 that pertain to general public administration. From the coursework of the political economy course and theories by Hyman Minsky and the Ponzi Finance, as well as public personnel management course. We'll talk about unions and government and the perceptions between the unions and public administrators and how those perceptions can be understood so that both sides can collaborate effectively to reach a common good for an organization. And then in the public service management and leadership assignment, we will look at organizational theory and behavior concepts with Edwin Locke and the goal setting theory and management by objectives. And then we will look at a concept and theory from Thomas Hobbes that was covered in the legal and ethical issues course and his theory on contractarianism and morality. For the general public administration theories, we'll first begin with Hyman Minsky and this section of the How Markets Fail text that we have for political economy. Hyman Minsky is building off Keynesian economics and John Maynard Keynes' theories on macroeconomic implications as it pertains to financial institutions and regulation of financial institutions. His theory on how free market capitalism is inherently unstable got a lot of attention in 2007 after the financial collapse and the beginning of the Great Recession that is stemming from the deregulation that took place for years prior to the collapse, and the deregulation of the financial institutions caused this competitiveness amongst lenders to seek out as many people they could for the bottom line in the short run, in the short term, but these lenders and these loans that were taken out primarily for mortgages became unfunded, as many people that qualified for these loans were unfunded and the liabilities were unpaid, which caused the market collapse, the real estate market to collapse and negatively affect many people, including myself, as a homeowner in 2007, and negatively affected a lot of people in America during that time. And this theory is stemming off the fact that free markets, as it pertains to financial institutions, will cause market instability over time, and where we would begin to see as oversight is loosened and there is deregulation, and lack of oversight for financial institutions will lead to higher highs and lower lows and longer recessions. Minsky argues against the conservative belief that that deregulation of banking industries would be beneficial, and that he believed that of all industries, the finance industry should have oversight primarily from the Federal Reserve to foster and stabilize the economy, or ongoing stabilized economy. Although there would be recessions and periodic growth, it would be less severe and not as long, and not negatively affect people or impact people as bad as it did in the last recession. By understanding this theory and understanding the implications of what happened leading up to the financial collapse of 2007, the deregulation of markets in the financial institution allowed this competitiveness to cause a financial collapse over a long period of time. And from this, hopefully we can learn and avoid the disaster myopia that occurs from these great recessions or government failures or even market failures, and move forward and learn from these, and hopefully have some type of regulation to foster that stabilized economy. The next theory or concepts that we'll talk about pertains to unions in government or unions in public administrators. And this is taken from the Human Resource Management and Public Service text from Public Personnel Management that we took in the coursework. And in the text, there is a conversation, or there is a topic of the perceptions of union leaders and public administrators. And by understanding the perceptions of union leaders and public administrators, both sides can understand the differences and collaborate effectively to provide for a fair workplace and working conditions. And that positive positive perceptions from managers about their union leaders generally provide a more effective collaboration between labor and managers to collaborate to effectively make the organization better as a whole in the name of not just the people that are working for that department, but for the citizens that they serve. One of the things that kind of resonates with me in the text is a concept of 15 ideas to enhance the relationships between the CEO and union leaders, or for public administrators and labor, and the managers that negotiate contracts with labor groups or develop policies so that the policy outcome is something palatable for not just management but also for the labor groups and for the employees to enhance working conditions and overall the outcome of providing a better public service outcome for the citizens. There is an exhibit on 441, and exhibit 11.1, 11.2 has the difference or potential perceptions that a manager may have of labor or union leaders, and then the perception of union leaders of management. And by understanding these potential perceptions that one side has of the other, kind of gives kind of a comprehensive kind of understanding of their roles and responsibilities and the differences that they have. And by understanding these differences, whether you're a union leader or union group or labor group, or you're a manager, by understanding these perceptions, you can better understand the sentiment from either side and hopefully work together. There's also the 15 ideas to enhance the relationships between the CEO or a manager, a public administrator, and the union leader. And it sets forth pretty good advice as to how to collaborate and to understand the differences between both sides of labor and management, to collaborate effectively and to reach a common goal to improve the working conditions of the organization and as well as for the public. For the public service management and leadership theories, we will cover a theory we learned in organizational theory and behavior. We will talk about Edwin Locke and the goal-setting theory, and then management by objectives. Edwin Locke's goal-setting theory is a theory that encompasses employee motivation and how to harness motivation from the employees into reaching organizational goals and increasing their engagement in the organization that they work with. And in this theory, the management is tasked with setting specific goals for their employees to attain, and that they are committed to attaining these goals. And by doing this, there needs to be an effective communication with the employees to reach these goals, and throughout the process of attaining these goals or these challenges within the organization, that once they do attain a goal or reach that successful outcome, that positive feedback is communicated to them for doing a good job and providing that intrinsic reward for achieving these goals. And then for management by objectives is basically an implementation of goal setting through management objectives and encompassing specific goals for a specific time period and providing that feedback and the progress of that goal. And by setting these goals, they're tangible and they're measurable and they're verifiable, so that they're not just goals for the individual that is tasked with an assignment, but that their goals are aligned not just with the employees that they supervise, but it is a goal and objective throughout the entire organization that has a similar and equal vision on the objectives to reach these goals. And by doing that, provides the intrinsic reward of achieving these goals and provides motivation for employees to step up and take on these tasks to improve the organization and meet the objectives of their employment. The next theory was a theory that we learned in the legal and ethical issues. This is from a video about Thomas Hobbes and contractarianism, and it has to do with morality of an individual and the social contracts of citizens, or as it pertains to public administration or employees, the social contracts that are shared between an organization, and that how this ethical theory explains the social contract and the implications of violating these social contracts through defection, and that breaking the contract or the social contract and understanding that you're in and by putting your own self-interest ahead of the organization will be detrimental to your own success and overall to the organization and reaching their obligations and their opportunities. This is something that's relevant for public administrators and public agencies, as the trust that is instilled by the citizens is imperative, and that by breaking these social contracts or being unethical and things that happen to public administrators or public organizations or public employees that comes to light in the media, and the social contract that is broken diminishes the trust from the public and can be really bad for an organization that serves the public. So the general public administration theories that we covered can be found from the political economy class, the Hyman-Minsky and the Ponzi finance segment of the text, and how markets fail can be found on page 205, and it is relevant to the deregulation of financial institutions and the lack of oversight and how that led to market failure and the Great Recession, and how it can relate to future market instability. And then in the theory on unions, or the concept of unions in government, and how understanding the perceptions of how union labor leaders view managers and how managers view unions. By understanding these possible perceptions, both parties or both sides can understand how to collaborate better and reach a common goal for the organization and making and improving the working environment. And this can be found in the Human Resource Management and Public Services text on page 435 and 442, and there is a diagram, or it's an exhibit, but it kind of lists everything, and it's very easy to read, and it resonates with me as a union leader. For the Public Service Leadership and Management text, it can be found in the Organizational Behavior class, is in the Organizational Behavior text from 216 to 219, and it talks about the motivational factors of Edwin Locke and the goal setting theory, as well as management by objectives. And then the legal and ethical course that we took, the crash course video is on week 2 of the coursework and can be found on the YouTube link at the bottom. In conclusion, hopefully these theories can kind of supplement the theories that we've reviewed for the final course of the MPA program. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's helpful, and I appreciate everyone's work, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.